His name is Han Solo, and he is the galaxy's most infamous scoundrel, but that's not how he started out. Risk taker, rule breaker, gambler, smooth talker, pilot, best friends with a walking carpet, and he has a thing for strong, complex women who see him for who he really is. So, does this movie about everyone's favorite scruffy-looking nerf herder deliver a tale worthy of the legend, or is this not the Star Wars story that we're looking for? Let's talk about it in this review. This film had some of the most difficult beginnings. The movie was almost done filming when the directors were let go, signaling this is in trouble. Enter Ron Howard, who had to reshoot almost the entire movie and still get it into theaters with minimal delay. So keeping all of this in mind before I walked into the theater, I had my expectation appropriately set at fun space adventure. And I'm happy to report that my expectation was met. The characters of Han and Lando didn't really feel like Han and Lando to me. The characters that I've come to know and love in these stories, I feel like they were close to hitting the mark, but I do believe that they missed by just a little bit. Understanding that the timeline for these characters is well before A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, I kept an open mind. These two vagabonds are clearly much younger versions of the characters we've come to know and love from those films, and so because of that, I think maybe they weren't as rough around the edges as I would have preferred. But even in these younger versions, you're still part of the criminal underworld, guys. Maybe try not to smile so much, like it's your birthday every single day, and every single day you're getting a pony. Of all the new characters we meet in this film, Emilia Clarke's character Kira was my favorite. Obviously, we didn't know much about her character, if anything, going into this film, so I really enjoyed the layers that her character had on how she was strong, intelligent, complex, and a very dangerous heroine in this movie. Plus, the big reveal at the end of the film with Darth Maul really was a nice touch that surprised me and really kind of cemented that this film does take place in a galaxy far, far away. And since we know that Darth Maul did survive the epic lightsaber battle between him, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace, we know that this film takes place somewhere between the Clone Wars TV series and the Star Wars Rebels TV series. Because we know that Darth Maul was trying to start the Shadow Collective during a Clone Wars, which was to control the criminal underworld. So this film rests somewhere between Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, Lords of the Sith, and Star Wars Rebels. And that means that Han Solo is probably much older than we anticipated when we first meet him in A New Hope. Alright, enough about canon, let's get back to this movie. In all, this film delivered a fun space adventure that at times felt like a Star Wars story, and at times did not. All the new characters had a look and feel to them that felt grounded in the Star Wars universe, which I appreciated. However, and once again, I find myself somewhat annoyed by the dialogue. I had the same complaint in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, where it feels like the Marvel writing team is coming into these films to kind of punch up the humor, to make the dialogue feel a little bit more modern. To drive the point further, and not to sound too much like Captain America, but language. Why were these characters in a galaxy far, far away using our curse words? There's a certain writing style and phrasing that's used in these films that was already established as part of the Star Wars galaxy. And I'm not sure if it's the speed in which these films are coming out, or if it's just that more modern dialogue is being requested from the studios making these films. But because of this modern dialogue, and because they're using phrasing and things that we would normally use, I feel like it's taking away some of the charm and some of the magic from these Star Wars films. To me, when I hear modern language, it pulls me out of this universe, and honestly, it places me in any other space adventure film. Dare I say, Star Wars is losing its unique charm. It's a small thing that the casual moviegoers probably don't even notice, but to me as a fan of these films, of these characters, of this franchise, it definitely does pull me out, and it's a bit of a bummer. Solo, a Star Wars story, is playing at your local movie theater right now, and I am definitely recommending a big screen viewing of this film. My issues aside, I did enjoy my time spent in the theater with these characters in this new world. I enjoyed the on-screen chemistry that these characters all had with each other, and while sometimes things in the plot felt predictable, they did little nice twists and turns throughout the story to really kind of showcase that they were paying attention, they wanted to provide something fun, even though this film started off very troubled. And more than that, it highlights and showcases just how intelligent, crafty, and smart Han Solo really is. And also, for all of us Star Wars fans, it answered some very important questions that we've been wondering about for decades. For example, how did Lando really lose the Millennium Falcon to Han Solo? How did Han Solo and Chewbacca first meet? Why did the Millennium Falcon look different in this film than all the other films we've seen her in? What's a Kessel Run? How did Han and Chewie become smugglers? These questions and more were all answered for us as fans, and they were answered pretty well. However, I didn't walk out of the theater absolutely in love with this film. And I did have some issues with the story and again some of the character portrayals, so it's only getting one high five from this guy. Solo: A Star Wars Story is playing at your local movie theater right now. Check it out.